Hello, everyone. In continuation with the series of questions for 5 marks for education in contemporary India, the subject for second semester B.Ed. This is the third video. We'll cover 10 to 5 more questions here, which are actually frequent questions that come up in exam, whether it is for all the any university or board. So let's start with question number 11. And the question is, explain the characteristics of education system during Buddhist period. So we have to brief some characteristics on how the education system was in Buddhist period. There were certain reform, were there any reforms to the existing culture and education, or what different ways were there in reference or in comparison with the earlier method of education. So we'll jot it down. So basically we have 10 points here. So, a few of the points include how the Buddhist education system was. There was a lot of emphasis on individuals to sacrifice material comforts and luxuries, and to basically their stress was on salvation and looking for and finding salvation, that is mukti. It was very strict and stringent, so student had a hard life in terms of education and learning, and there was a strict code of morality. And basically there was expected to follow at least 10 commandments, which are the basic fundamentals or pillars of Buddhism, that is like not taking life, or not telling a lie, not drinking, abstaining from impure practices, taking what is only given and not beyond that, not eating out of time, strictly adhering to the time system, not dancing, singing, and seeing shows, not using garlands, scents, ornaments, etc., not using high or large couch, and not receiving gold and silver. Basically, it was the preaching or was towards a very modest and a humble life, down to earth, and seeking salvation. And we can go through the points and write them same for the for this question. So we'll go to the next question. What are the important constitutional provisions regarding education? So what we have to list down few of them. Basically, in any references or books that I have gone through, they were this 12 highlighted. So we have written those 12. So free and compulsory education, which is part of Article 45 of the Directive Principles of State Policy. Education for minorities, Article 30 of Indian Constitution. Education of weaker section, Article 15, 17, and 46. Language safeguard, so Article 29, Part 1 of it. Secular education, Article 25, Part 1, Article 28, Part 1, Article 28, 2, and 3. And equality for opportunity in educational institutions, that is also recommended under Article 29. Promotion of Hindi language, Article 351. Instruction in mother tongue, Article 26. Higher education and research, that is safeguarded under entry 63 and 66 of Union List. Women's education in Article 15. Education and Union Territories. Union Territories, that's Article 239 of Indian Constitution. Education and cultural relation with foreign countries. So these are listed on what exactly the the gist of it is that our constitution has given a lot of importance to education and of the community and the citizens of India. So these are all the various, and it addresses all the sector and sections of the society in different articles. So you can write down this answer as a question. Write a short notes on maktab and madrasas. So maktab, what are maktab? Maktabs were primary school meant for small children, like pre-primary or primary kind of setup. Maktab means place where reading and writing is taught, where students is taught. Students were admitted in this is precise definition of maktab at the age of 4 years, 4 months, 4 days. At the time of admission, Bismillah ceremony was solemnized in maktab. Every student was made to learn verses of Quran, Islamic religion, Arabic, Persian, and mathematics. whereas madrasa is a higher, like secondary school. The only distinction here is there was more than Quranic. It was also emphasis given on Arabic and Persian languages, and also there were structured libraries and hostel system. Basically, this were on based on the aid given by the kings and emperors at those times. And in the maktabs, girl only it was limited to girl child, only limited to maktabs, wherein madrasas, the boys were given what do you say? It was only for boys. So this is the answer. So you can go through the details of it, and we'll go to the next question. Explain the recommendations of Karnataka Education Act 1983 with reference to primary. So this question has come for secondary education also. The most of the points would be similar except for 1 or 2 points. So Karnataka Secondary Act 1983 with reference to primary and secondary education, it extends to whole of the state of Karnataka. It applies to all education institutions, tutorials, institutions in state. So what are I have just highlighted few recommendations. For example, in terms of primary education, it's like primary education should be free, and we should not be strict on non-attendance, because there is lenience given, because we are trying to make compulsory education. So there are certain we have to overlook certain things like lack of attendance or lack of academic or improvement in education. So we have to overlook. We are not supposed to fail anyone, and try to encourage children. And parents are to be given responsibility of bringing their childs to the school. So, and also various recommendations for registration of educational institutions, including tutorial institutions. I mean, it's made it very easy for you can register primary education wherein close to a community if there is none. So it has been made easier, the government to prescribe the curricula as well. And there are other points as well. I've just highlighted few. Write at least 6 to 7 points for a 5 marks question. So we'll go to the next question. That is, distinguish between CBSE and ICSE affiliation-based schools. So the points of distinctions are on the left side, distinction factors. So CBSE stands for Central Board for Secondary Education, whereas ICSE stands for Indian Certificate of Secondary Education. Syllabus is for CBSE is mostly theoretical, simple, and makes a good basis for medical engineering. If you're going for medical engineering, this is good. But here in ICS, it's mostly practical and knowledge. Whether if you're going for research or any language-based thing, or in academics or international pursuit of any international course, then this is good for you. The core subjects are Hindi, English and Hindi as languages, and science, math, social science, and vocational subjects. Whereas in ICSE, history, civics, geography, English, and second language is taught. The assessment is internal assessment practicals in CBSE, whereas in ICSE it's practical and lab work. The grading system is Indian Certificate of Secondary Education. You'll get that certificate here. ICSE boards. No, this should have been a 5-point system, and this should have been. There is a correction in the answer over there, so please pardon me for that. So in ICSE, at least you have to take 40 marks so far, that is fixed, and here for pass, here also it is 40 marks. And what else is there? So you can write this as an answer. And we'll go to the next slide, and we'll conclude the session here. We'll looking forward to the next questions, and please do stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, and stay tuned and happy learning.